a lot of games that I see in the recent years in the indie space, there is this kind of sense of purpose.
Hello there, and welcome to the Chinterviews. My name is Marcus, also known as the Chinterview, and today I am joined by the author of Kortborg and Kill Your Necromancer. Joining me all the way from Poland is Paweł Kicman. Paweł, hello, welcome aboard.
Hello, it's good to be here, thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us, Paweł. We're going to be talking about your games today. We're going to be talking about writing both standalone and supplementary games for Merkborg. But before we get there, Paweł, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us where you're from, what you do, and what got you into the beautiful world of tabletop RPGs.
So, as you mentioned, I'm from Poland. I live in Krakow. I'm not originally from Krakow. I was actually born in a different place, raised in a different place, lived for years in a different place. So that's that. I'm doing two different things, which are quite similar in tone, because what I do for a living is writing. I always say that my day job is TTRPG design, and I do write, design, sometimes layout TTRPGs. And my other job, which is more of a kind of gig-based, and I call it a night job, is pop culture journalism. I do write mostly about video games, but not only. And try to combine both. It's not always going according to plan, because sometimes I need to do more of TTRPGs. Sometimes I have a lot on my plate in terms of journalism. I'm trying to kind of balance it out. I would say kind of mainly I kind of write, design, publish TTRPGs. And how I got into this whole mess, that's a very good question. I have two different answers. I have a short one and I have a longer one. And I think the longer one will be more suitable, because I think we can then transition to other topics, because basically I've spent 7 years right after university. I spent 7 years working for different corporations, doing kind of recruitment, analytics, that kind of stuff. It wasn't exactly my first choice. I did it because I had to kind of. Basically, it was pretty comfortable just doing that, having kind of stable income. And then after 7 years, I've lost my job. And I was like, yeah, actually that's good, because I wanted to leave this company either way and kind of look for something different. And then I just, I found a pretty decent role. So I was like, yeah, I don't have anything to worry about. And then after like a month or 2 months, they came back saying, oh, apologies, Paweł, because we need to freeze our recruitment processes, so we cannot hire you now. Maybe in 6 months or something. I'm like, oh, I don't really have 6 months. But actually, my first thought was, that's excellent. That's the kind of, that gives me the push I needed to maybe try something I want to do for a change. So I went to my wife and I said, listen, so that's the situation. I want to make TTRPGs and I want to give it a shot. I have an idea. Just give me 1 week. I will come up with a business plan. We can discuss this. We can discuss how much savings we have, how to kind of make this work. And she said, okay, let's do it. And yeah, that's how it started. It was over a year ago, and I'm still here, so so it's not that bad. And hopefully I'll be here next year and next year and the next. But yeah, that's how I got started.
You approach this with a business plan and everything, even though it is quite the switch over from a corporate job. It sounds like you approached this very well planned and thought out.
Well, I think so. Maybe it wasn't perfect, but it really helped me to gain that confidence that it can work. But also, to be honest, I think I really needed that to feel a bit more kind of to feel safe. Maybe not super safe, but safer. Because I had a lot of anxiety coming into this, making that leap. It was very difficult decision to make. To this day, I feel like sometimes, it's like, oh, if I can make it for another month and stuff like that. So that kind of planning really helped me to kind of put my mind on ease and really, kind of see that, yeah, it is possible. It is realistic. It's not just a kind of I don't know, a dream that, oh, I'll be TTRPG creator and I will dominate the world with my games. It's more of a like, if I can do it and kind of sustain myself and my family, if I can grow, if I can make this into a business, which was also kind of pretty difficult because I think doing different creative stuff, whether it's game design, writing, art, or anything like that, it's very difficult to have that approach to creating something that it's kind of it's not a kind of part of a creative process. It's part of doing business, and it is difficult because sometimes those kind of business things comes into play and they interrupt the creative process.
As much as you want to do this out of creativity and to create something, the business side of things, the financial side of it, sooner or later, that also starts playing a role.
Exactly. And that's why I really needed to, like, even a few months ago, I was in a position that I had to kind of make smaller projects that now I have to finish because I had such a kind of tight pipeline just to pay taxes. And it was very difficult because I don't want to rush anything. I want every product to be maybe not perfect because nothing is perfect, but to be as good as it can be. And sometimes that kind of pressure that, oh, if I can make it to pay taxes next month and stuff like that, it's pretty difficult and kind of it is impactful on the process. And sometimes it's even kind of pushes the process out of the picture entirely. Like last week, I spent the whole week in different kind of Excel sheets and stuff like that, instead of writing, which I was supposed to do. But to be honest, it's working so far, and I'm very hopeful. And I have a lot of positive feedback, and I've met amazing people. There's such a nice, welcoming community around TTRPGs, especially kind of indie TTRPGs. Because I know a lot of people are, like kind of, yeah, we do play D&D and that's it. And that's obviously fine. But the whole kind of indie scene is very welcoming, and they kind of support you so much. And I'm so grateful that there are so many people who kind of believe in my projects and then takes time and interest, and they kind of pay for it and they play it and they share, comment, like, and it's so encouraging.
Even after any kind of struggle that you have in the creation of this, the challenges, maybe also the doubts and concerns that you have, if there's people out there who look at your product, who play your games and share their experiences with it, enjoying it, that makes it all worth it, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. And honestly, with Corpborg, I was meaning to do something fun and something decent, and I wished it will be at least okay. And now people are saying, yeah, oh, it's such a great book. It has its place on my kind of top shelf alongside Cyborg and Pirate Borg. I'm like, oh gosh, that's that's a lot. I would be satisfied with kind of a middle shelf. Um, but yeah, it really keeps me going, and it's amazing. It kind of all the hard work, it really pays out, not only in money, because obviously this is important, but specifically in the feedback and the community engagement, because yeah, those people are just purely amazing.
You mentioned Corpborg earlier, and I'm glad you did, because Corpborg is one of the two games that got me to find out about you and about the games you make. I've been reading Corpborg, and let me try to describe the blend that Corpborg is. It is basically horrible, gigantic corporations that rule the world and who also summon demons, and the characters are the simple clerks and workers of these horrible companies just trying to make it through the day. What got you to write a game like this? Because you talked about that you've been working in corporate jobs for 7 years, you've been in recruitment and analytics. And while we're talking about that, I was already starting thinking, did Paweł get inspiration from Corpborg from there? Or were there other moments of inspiration that got you started on this game?
Actually, I think the first idea for this game I had like 2 years ago, but more of a kind of a joke that I wanted to make like 10 pages as a kind of a spoof and a play on the kind of the whole board concept. But then when I was kind of laid off, and when then kind of the second job didn't really come around, and I made a decision to go into this full time, it was kind of an instant decision. I knew that I will make Corpborg as my first big project, because it would just perfectly fit the experience, because I truly do hate corporations and kind of capitalism and its kind of forms and shapes. And I thought for a long time in my creative process, I was trying to do specifically kind of writing comic books, but not only, but mainly. Um, I was always trying to make something that's cool, that I think would be nice, that's something that I feel like could be interesting. And then with Corpborg, I thought, no, I need to make something that I know, something that I understand, and something that's kind of that's personal to me, and something that it's not something that I will have to, I don't know, research, and something that's foreign to me. I need to make something that's kind of close, and so that was a natural pick to do Corpborg. For a long time in kind of the process of making Corpborg, I've wanted this to be kind of funny, that the corporations are so bad, and a lot of kind of inside jokes within the book to highlight how bad it is, and but obviously trying to make this a kind of more of a parody. And then when I kind of published the first digital version last year in December, and now with the physical release over the last month, people are saying that sure, it is funny, but it's also pretty terrifying, because they see themselves with kind of in the book, kind of they see their experience within the world of Corpborg, which that wasn't my intention. I wanted this to be kind of more, a stupid, funny, dark thing, and not kind of something that will give you that cathartic experience. And people, honestly, a few different groups of players said it was kind of cathartic experience to have to play Corpborg, because they spent 8, 10, 12 hours a day in corporation and they hate it, and then they come to the tabletop and play this game, and they can really kind of feel relief to be able to, I don't know, kill demons that are their bosses and managers and stuff like that, and kind of work through all that bullshit and nonsense.
I like what you describe, how this game seems to hit a different nerve than what you would have expected, that there's people who kind of relate to the core material of the game and have a cathartic experience in just coming home from their own office or corporate jobs and having the chance at the table to quite literally fight the demons of capitalism in this kind of game.
Yeah, and I think the most important part for me is to read those comments and to listen to people talking about it, because it means that it meant something for them. Because if it's another, no disrespect to D&D, but if it's another D&D session and it's okay, it was nice high fantasy, and you can be a cool elf and stuff like that, and it's super fun. I love it. But with this one, I was also thinking that it will be like that people will just play and they'll say, yeah, I played Korborg, it was fine, it's like we killed some demons and that's it. And a lot of people are like, going a bit deeper and kind of meant something to them, which again, pretty surprising. Not what I was meaning to do and or achieve, but yeah, it's actually pretty amazing to see that it has an impact of a different kind.
The moment I saw that two of your traits in this game are soft skills and hard skills took me back to way too many corporate seminars I've been part of, talking exactly about developing your soft skills with people.
Yeah, and it was very important for me to make this game and tie in the experience of playing and kind of the narrative and the writing within the book, because I could easily go with stats being like strength and endurance, intelligence, stuff like that. But instead, I took different corporate keywords that would make sense in the context, and I did that for the whole book. So basically, it is kind of a Morgborg based book, and it follows the very same structure and a little bit of a kind of similar vibe. So basically, if you would read Korborg and Morgborg side to side, there are a lot of overlapping elements.
Talking about overlap with Merkborg, when it came out for the first time, from what I remember, one of the things that it fueled a lot was conversation about the role of art design and layout in a tabletop RPG. Merkborg itself was a game that was very focused on the design of the product, the presentation of the product, and combined that with a very straightforward OSR-like rule system included in it. And when I look at Korborg, I also see that it has a very strong focus on visual design. There's a lot of great things done with art, with color design and the likes, but of course there's still a game in it. What would you say is the role of art and visual design in a tabletop RPG?
That's a very good question. So I think the role of art and layout design in Morgborg specifically is to evoke the feeling, but also to kind of guide you through the experience. So when I was talking about kind of tying in the narrative and the act of playing, what Morgborg does so well is tying the kind of art form and the layouts with the experience and with the kind of act of reading the book and the act of playing the game. With Korborg, I can only say I wanted to do something similar, but it would take me, 100 years to to get to a point in which I can say, oh, I came close to Morgborg, because that won't happen. So I'm not even trying to kind of be do something as good as Morgborg is in that sense, because Johan, who kind of graphically designed and did art for Morgborg, he's a genius, and he's got such a good understanding of what he does, and I do have a very, very minor understanding of what I do in that space. So I can only mimic, I can only try to make things look cool, and keeping my fingers crossed that people will like it. And I think that's also okay. If a book looks good, it's okay. But with Morgborg specifically, it looks good, but it also feels good. It kind of provides an experience. There are a lot of books that are very minimalistic and are completely, and that's not only fine, that kind of looks perfect, and it kind of goes with the vibe of the book, or it's just kind of very clear and very indicative of what to do, kind of how to read it and, you know, how to play it, which is perfect. And there are books like Frontiers Come, which is kind of Western Morg Borg game, which is also pretty minimalistic but very stylish. So that can be done as well. So at the end of the day, I think it's a choice, and it's completely fine to have a book with like text only and with the simplest layout. It can still look perfectly fine, and it can be an amazing game. But and on the other side, you can do amazing art and just put it all over the place with Morborg and Cyborg, other things that Johan designed as well, and with a lot of games that I see in the recent years in the indie space. There's this kind of sense of purpose and the layout design. Like, it's done for a reason. It's not only there to, you know, put things in a page so people can read it and understand the game. It's more to make people read it in a specific way, to interact in a specific way, and I, you know, and I love it, and I think it's a great addition to already awesome experience of playing TTRPGs, to have also a book being an experience, kind of reading through the book being an experience on itself, and kind of complementing then the playthrough.
One of your other projects is Kill Your Necromancer, which is not a standalone Merkborg game, but it is a supplement to Merkborg, which allows players to play one of 4 classic undead and do kind of an reverse dungeon crawl where they are the monsters in the dungeon fending off whoever is coming in there.
Yeah, exactly. And funny thing is that this was my first ever idea for anything related to TTRPG. When I first started playing and when I discovered Morgborg, and I've seen people are making amazing third-party content for it, and decided, I want to try make something on my own. It was my first idea. So the kind of the first version of Kill Your Necromancer, like 2 pages, and then I thought, it's such a cool idea. I wish I could make this into a kind of bigger project. And yeah, the opportunity arose, so I did. And yeah, I still feel like this is one of my best ideas. Not sure if the book itself is so great as the idea in my head is, but I had so much fun making this and writing this, and I was able to unleash my inner kind of, maybe a bit of a dark, sarcastic writer on this one. It's so much fun to write and to kind of make this one.
It's always nice to see these tropes, like heroes delving into the dungeon and then finding the loot and coming out of the dungeon. It's great to see those tropes flipped on their head. And I think having as a player the chance to just be the ghoul or the ghost for once and not the fighter or wizard, that just sounds like a good time.
I think so. And actually I really wanted to make something like that just because I thought it'll be so much fun to kind of flip it on its head. But I never realized how much fun it can really be until I've seen an actual play from Mystery Quest, and it kind of came as a surprise because I never sent them anything. I wasn't like, oh, please play my game. It was like someone sent me, oh, have you seen this amazing crew is playing Kill Your Necromancer? I'm like, what? Let me see it. And it was like a month ago or something like that, and I had a really, really bad day. It was a terrible day. And then I've seen it, and I couldn't stop smiling for the rest of the day. It was so great. And the whole series is like 3 episodes. It's hilarious. It's so good. It's so funny. It's so smart. Players are amazing. It's so much fun. I think I haven't laughed so much in years. And actually, it was a lot of fun because a lot of the things that happen in the actual play came like from the book, and it was amazing to see that, you know, you've designed, you've wrote something, and people are using it, and kind of it has an influence, an impact on what's happening in people's playthrough. So for me, it was like, whoa, that's amazing. And actually, it was pretty much the same feeling with Horde of Tales, actually, who played corp work during Women's Month, and when I saw, and I've seen it, kind of the announcement first, like, wait, corp work? Is this right? No, that cannot be. And then, whoa, it can be. And it was also so cool. It was kind of the first time I've seen actually people playing my thing, not kind of reading about it, just kind of actually seeing people play it. And it was also pretty dope. And I you know, the whole team, they made such a great effort to push this into that kind of a little bit silly, but also a little bit serious regions. So it was also an amazing actual play.
We talked earlier about how there's this unglamorous side of being an indie TTRPG creator, where you also have to deal with finances, where you have to work in spreadsheets and make sure the numbers are right, and at the end of the month you have money in your account and everything. I can imagine that when you see these kind of moments where people play your game, that it can make it feel like it's worth the effort.
And I think for every creator or artist, it is the most important thing. Obviously, if they would have to choose, you know, I don't know, be broke but be famous, or I don't know, or make money but people are like, yeah, your products are okay, I think a lot of people would struggle to choose. But still, I think it's substantial, because it doesn't make any sense to create something that people will just throw away, that will have no meaning for anyone. That's what kind of keeps me going, because honestly, if it wouldn't be for all those people who even commented one sentence on my games, I wouldn't be here today. I think I would give up after like one or two projects. I would say, yeah, I made money out of it, but nobody's playing, like nobody's commenting. I don't know if it's any good, so you know, why do it? But thankfully, the feedback so far is good, and I will still stay this way for other projects, because I'm trying my best, and still I have so much to learn. But yeah, but it's a journey, and I'm so glad and I'm so thankful for a lot of people kind of being a part of this journey with me.
And talking about other projects on the horizon, projects where you can still grow in and learn more. One specific one I want to briefly talk about, and that's Hell Power, which you did tease on your socials as a product of love-hate relationship with the superhero genre. Can you tell us a little bit more about what we can expect of Hell Power?
Sure. So again, staying in the realm of do what you know, it's kind of a project that initially I wanted to make as an official The Boys TTRPG, and I was trying to get a license, but I didn't get the license. So I thought I can make it better than The Boys, and I can make it more unhinged. And having such a great experience with Morkborg and with doing corp work, I thought, would it make sense to make such a game on the Morkborg engine and with kind of Morkborg vibe? And I spent some time thinking, laying out, designing, writing, and then and I was like, yeah, it fits perfectly. So that will be kind of a Morkborg meets The Boys meets Injustice meets different other comic books where superheroes are evil trope. So this is going to be, as I mentioned, kind of similar product to what kind of The Boys is all about. The Boys more of a comic book The Boys than the TV series. So about normal people who are kind of faced against well, maybe not superheroes, but kind of more super villains. Because the idea is that in this world, some people got superpowers from hell, but because it was from hell, only the bad people got it. So all the kind of murderers, criminals, CEOs, people like that, they got those powers. So the world has shifted into kind of basically kind of post-Apple world, kind of. It's settled, so we are kind of playing in the present time where the world is at the brink of destruction, because all it takes is just one bad day for one of the most kind of powerful supervillains, and it's the end. So the kind of apocalyptic theme of being at the brink of the end again ties back into Morgborg, but there will be a lot of different parallels made, but it will be also pretty different to play, because the main gameplay loop will be that, yeah, you're kind of regular people, but you're very determined to kill those supervillains for some reason. And the loop will be, you kind of plan, you gather intel, information about the weakness of different supervillains, and then you kind of gather materials or whatever you need to exploit those weaknesses, and then you kind of face against someone who can kill you in a second, and you're trying not to die within that second. So it will be a bit different in how you approach the gameplay, because there won't be a lot of typical combat like human versus human. There will be some, like, I don't know, you need to go through guards in a lab or something like that. But basically, you know, in Morgborg, in the vein of classic second edition D&D and kind of other OSR games that we have now, it's very easy to die, and you have only like, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 HP. So that's kind of the same here, but the supervillains, they have 6,600 HP. So that will be that difference, and that will force players to really come up with a plan.
If you would have told me this like a few years ago, and you would say someone will make a superhero game with Morgborg, I would have said, why would they do that? But now that you're explaining this to me, this idea, I am very excited to see that work in a system like Morgborg.
Yeah, because it's all about that kind of OSR feel to it, that you're just a regular guy or gal or a person, and you can die any second, and there is this clock ticking for the apocalypse, for the world to end, and all that kind of fits into the world that I wanted to create. So it perfectly makes sense to set it in kind of a Morgborg framework. But also the rule set, I think I love minimalistic and simple rules that you can put on one page and everyone understands it. So that's why I want to stick to that. It will be sometimes heavily modified. So people will be like, oh, but it doesn't really resemble Morgborg that much, which is fine, because obviously I need to make adjustments to make this work. So it'll be a lot of kind of design work around the system itself, but also I feel like it will fit. I think when people will see the whole book, they'll be like, okay, now I understand why it's kind of Morgborgish product, because it's not only for marketing. It's not that I want to ride that train of Borg products. It's because I honestly feel it fits the idea I have, and that it'll work perfectly fine with what I had in mind.
I'm already looking forward to seeing Hellpower and how we get superheroes from hell in a Morgborg-inspired system. Dear listeners, if you got excited by the things that you heard Paweł talking about, you can find links to Paweł's social media, his itch page, and other links in the description of this Chinterview, so you should definitely go and check that out. Paweł, thank you so much for coming on. I enjoyed our conversation very much. And I wish you all the best for all your upcoming projects and games. And I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for Hellpower.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate that. It was such a pleasure to talk with you. And yeah, hope we'll stay in touch.
Thanks everyone for listening to this Chinterview, and see you on the next one. Take care, stay safe, and bye-bye.